Some of you have said in my comment sections that the knee of the officer Derek was on George Floyd's shoulder rather than his neck, and that was what the chief said. Listen to what he actually said.
You agree it appears to be the same time frame?
Yes.
All right. Now, lastly, Chief, I'm going to show you one last video. We can take this down, Your Honor. I would offer Exhibit 1020, which is a side-by-side of the two.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
1020 is received.
You would agree, Chief, that from the perspective of Miss Frazier's camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee is on the neck of Mr. Floyd.
Yes.
Would you agree that from the perspective of Officer King's body camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee was more on Mr. Floyd's shoulder blade?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Slusher.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Chief, let's start with what you just saw, and you testified that the particular moment in time that you were viewing Officer King or former Officer King's body-worn camera, it appeared at that moment in time that the knee of the defendant was more towards the shoulder blade. Is that right?
That is correct.
That was at a time where the ambulance had already arrived,
Yes.
very shortly before they loaded Mr. Floyd onto the gurney. Is that right?
That is correct.
And in your view of the body-worn camera footage and everything you reviewed prior to testifying today, did you see the defendant's knee anywhere but the neck of Mr. Floyd up until that time?
That is correct.
And so the knee of the defendant was on Mr. Floyd's neck up until the time you just pointed out.
Yes. When I viewed that video portion, that is the first time that I had seen the knee of the defendant on the shoulder blade area.
And that was right before the paramedic came.
That is correct.
Now, looking at and talking about the neck restraint policy, if you could show Exhibit 17, please. Looking at Exhibit 17, was it your testimony that Exhibit 17 is not a trained MPD neck restraint?
Correct. That is my testimony.
And I'd like you to reflect on the exhibits that you were shown by defense counsel, Exhibits 1008, 1019, and 1020, the 10-second clip. Okay. During that period of time, which is much later than the point in time we see here, did you see any indication that Mr. Floyd was actively resisting, as that term is defined in Minneapolis Police Department policy?
I did not observe Mr. Floyd to be actively resisting during that time.
Did you see, same question, same time period, any indication that Mr. Floyd was being actively aggressive during that 10-second clip that you were just shown?
No, I did not observe Mr. Floyd to be actively aggressive during that
Could you,
short video.
could you even say that he was passively resisting at that time that you were shown those exhibits?
No. As a matter of fact, as I saw that video, I didn't even know if Mr. Floyd was alive at that time.